Religion and faith intrigues me in my movies. I don't know about other films. I suppose when I was young, I was influenced by some of the Hammer vampire movies where you had the way to fight Dracula would be to hold up a crucifix and dash holy water on him, which is a fascinating idea. But religion in general has always been fascinating to me.
What is it? A secret that can no longer be kept.
Prince of Darkness came about because of a confluence of elements. One was I had been making bigger budget studio films and had gotten tired of the process, and tired of how that goes, or at least that went in those days. I think it can't be any better than when I was doing it. And I longed to make a low budget movie where I would have complete control over it, the story, the flow, the characters, the thematic materials. So Prince of Darkness was the first of 2 low budget movies that I made. And I was influenced by a book I had read the summer before we made the movie. It was on quantum mechanics. It's a theory in physics about the very small, about subatomic particles and their behavior. And my worldview changed a great deal.
Suppose there is a universal mind controlling everything, a God willing the behavior of every subatomic particle.
Rarely does a horror film try out new ideas, new ways of saying things. None so much as the problems that we're having today in horror movies, where a lot of derivative stuff it's very popular, but boy have I seen this stuff. So I wanted to do something different. I wanted to do a movie that just caused you a lot of unease and dread. And so I borrowed a little bit from Gregory Benford's book, Timescape. I know Gregory, he's a really nice man. I borrowed a little bit here, a little bit there, a little bit of Jean Cocteau, and put together this story about an anti-god, and that's Prince of Darkness.
Maybe this universal mind resides in the mirror image instead of in our universe as we wanted to believe. Maybe he's anti-God, bringing darkness instead of light.
Well, I'm not looking forward to the end of humanity in reality, but in cinema, it's always a lot of fun. It's always been fun, it always will be fun, the end of things. You have to be careful, though, because the audience doesn't really like that kind of stuff. They want a little hope and a little certainty, and they want to know that there's another day, things will be better tomorrow. That's generally the idea from the audience, but I've always loved a little doom and gloom, as the Rolling Stones say. So maybe it was my mood about the movie business at the time. Maybe it was whatever it was. I decided to concoct this idea of an alternate reality, essentially, in the way things were created. Again, because of my interest in quantum mechanics. But apocalyptic stories are fun to make. That's just what it comes down to.
How did the Roman Catholic Church manage to keep this a secret for 2,000 years?
Apparently a decision was made to characterize pure evil as a spiritual force, evil within, the darkness in the hearts of men.
There's a couple of different concepts in cinema about how to shoot things. One is Russian montage, which is the idea that if you cut things together fast enough, you can, in the audience's mind, create excitement devoid from content. It has nothing to do with what the movie's about. So you see a lot of movies today that are cut really fast. They're trying to keep you excited. They're trying to keep you jazzed up. And then there's European Expressionism, or German Expressionism, a lot of wide, long shots that kind of, they're a languid quality, to slow it down. Give you a chance to look around. And you use both in filmmaking, But I suppose that little German expressionism crept into my work occasionally, just to let things play out a little longer. I believe the opening credits in Prince of Darkness are pretty long. I believe they go on for quite a while. So that's fine. I don't see that anymore. I didn't see it a lot then. You know, movies are bebop now. You know, they're all bebop. So that's good. That's all good. Life is good. The production designer, Dan Lamino, had scouted this church, and part of its appeal was that it was downtown Los Angeles, that it would fit in with our shooting schedule, if we could find a church down there. And it was perfect. That mainly the exterior was perfect, the way it was laid out. Downtown LA is really picturesque for movies, especially when it's downtrodden crap, you know. The most impressive set to me was the underground area with all the candles. That was down in Long Beach at this deserted hotel resort. It had been used for years for studio locations. And oh God, it was falling apart. We couldn't walk in certain areas because you might get hit by part of the building falling off. But boy, did it look great. Oh, it was beautiful. That was really impressive to see. And a giant set lit by just candlelight. The most difficult effect we ever did in the movie was a big claw coming out of the mirror. And what we did was, and don't tell anybody this can't get out, but we took the crane that we were using and drained the mercury out of it, because there's mercury in the bottom of it, and put it in a little container of mercury. It's like a glass, it's like a mirror. And then we lowered the claw into it, and then we put the mercury back in. Everything was fine, but it's dangerous to do that. There's a lot of it in there. You have to realize that for me in my life, I don't know what fans treasure or not, because I watch basketball and the news and play video games, and I don't pay attention anymore. It all feels great. I'll take it. But I have no way of knowing how people really feel and when they feel it. I think that the home video revolution had a second life for my movies, because some people went to see it in the theater. Some people saw my movies, especially Prince of Darkness, on home video, and where they can watch it again and again and again. So that's really given a second life to a lot of movies and a lot of my films, to which I say that's the greatest. So, you know, everything that you're talking about is flattering. That people were talking about this movie these years later is really heartwarming to me. It's really great. And it's a great comfort in my old age to hear these things. I'm still the guy who didn't get the girl, who was bullied in high school, who was no good at sports. And that's who I'm always going to be. But the thing about me that I'm proudest of is my love affair with cinema and my ability and luck at being able to be a movie director. I couldn't think of a higher calling or a better job in the entire world. I love it. It's fabulous.